Welcome to Mot Ohio. This is the first Ohio show that we've done that's just strictly Ohio. Have a few things that we want to talk about today. So basically, this show is just focusing on Ohio news, Ohio politics. If anybody wants to participate, feel free to send a guest invite and you can definitely come on here. But first, I wanted to just go over the topics and then we can talk about the topics more in depth if you would like, one on one, and answer any questions for those that are on TikTok. Now, for everybody on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch that will be watching this later, the topics for today are the Ohio governor race, the Ohio counties rejecting solar and windmill farms, and Ohio needs a new AG. Sorry, I know I'm yawning. I just got done doing another stream, so this one's not going to be as long. There's a lot of races going on right now for the election. A couple big ones in Ohio. I think everywhere has a governor's race, if I'm not mistaken. But the two candidates for the Ohio governor or the gubernatorial race is Mike DeWine. Obviously, he's the current governor, Republican. And then we have Nan Whaley, who is the Democratic candidate. Now, I'm not a big fan of either of them, but I did meet Mike DeWine during a campaign event that I was helping at. I was door knocking at one of the Republican councilmen in the city that we were campaigning at, and he came to his campaign and shook his hand, met him, took a picture with him. Seemed okay. Really short guy. I'm really short, but he's really short too. Anyway, that doesn't have much to do with anything, but I voted for him. And I have been not really impressed, especially since the whole cough and sniffle thing. He went really hard at that. Additionally, there has been some allegations that have been circulating lately regarding potential corruption with First Energy that Nan Whaley brought to light once again. But other than that, Mike DeWine has done some good things for the state, I'd say. He's been very pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment. He's been very pro-life. Those are two things that are very important to me. So I'm glad that, he's been implementing those laws, and the Ohio legislature has been following as well in that regard. And now Nan Whaley obviously is opposed to those things. She wants to reimpose the abortion laws here, make it more accessible for people to get abortion. Sorry, I know I'm yawning. I just once again got done doing another 2-hour stream. Wants to make abortions more accessible to people in Ohio, as well as restrictions on gun rights. But we do know that we have a couple rhinos in the Republican base that would probably side with her if he doesn't get reelected again. That being Matt Dolan out of Sugar and Falls. He's trying to pass red flag laws as we speak. And anyway, Nan Whaley is not innocent either, though. There's a lot of corruption that she may have been a part of. We don't know. They already investigated it. They cleared her name, but you know how that goes, right? It could be that she is involved in it and somehow, some way she got out of it. But in Dayton, Ohio, was where she was the mayor. There was this bribe that took place between SRI Inc. and multiple politicians, a few politicians. What's going on, Andy? A few politicians ended up going to prison for it, losing their jobs. SRI had to pay like $1,500 in corruption fees, and Nan Whaley allegedly received $50,000 from the owner of SRI, and this was done in an attempt to make sure he got the demolition contracts because SRI is a demolition company, and so basically they were bribing for demolition contracts, and she had been entangled in that. Although she was found innocent, nothing was wrong on her part. Similar things will probably be done to Mike DeWine, but that doesn't mean that either of those two are actually innocent. So the race that we have going on in Ohio is going to be interesting. Obviously, I want Mike DeWine to stay winning over Nan Whaley, but at the end of the day, I don't really know that it matters all that much. Um, I think it's better for the state if Mike DeWine wins simply because he is pro-gun, pro-life, and Ohio has done well under him, I would say. But I don't know, like there's an interesting side of Nan Whaley too, where she's proposing to pause gas taxes and then use the rainy day fund that the government has collected to do road projects, where Mike DeWine says that road tax is crucial to the funding of projects. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work out. Where how that would actually affect it. I think that it could be a good thing to pause it. I mean, it would lower people's costs at the tank, which everybody would appreciate. But what's the long-term effects of that? I'm not too sure. Could the Ohio transportation survive without it? Probably, but I don't know. Overall, socially, I would say that I agree more so with Mike DeWine. But we'll see how this plays out in November. On the 8th, I believe, is the election. They both just recently spoke at an event. I did a video on it. It was like the Mid Ohio Regional something. I can't remember the last part of it, but basically talking about infrastructure and what they would do for the infrastructure. Mike DeWine touted his accomplishments as governor with the broadband expansion and a few other things as well. And Nan Whaley didn't mention very much as to what she would do aside from getting rid of the gas tax. So we'll see. Both of them are not innocent in the least. They definitely have some dirt on them, which is probably true of most politicians. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And then there's another race going on as well between J.D. Vance and Tim Ryan. I did a couple TikToks on Tim Ryan and J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is the author of Hillbilly Elegy, I believe. And a Republican, I think that he has potential to be good, but we'll see exactly how he does. I know that he wasn't a big fan of Trump, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I'm not a big fan of Trump, but now he's accepting Trump's endorsement. He didn't like Trump in 2020, so that's kind of, it's just showing me that he may fall into the same political lines as other Republicans before him who claim to be outside of the establishment, but we'll see. I think Jim Jordan also has competition. I think that Jim Jordan may have a hard time because of that scandal when he was a wrestling coach of the R words taking place, how he may have had knowledge of it, didn't say anything. So that could be harmful to his campaign. We'll see, though. A lot of good elections coming up in Ohio. Ohio is kind of an important state in as far as the presidential election goes. So depending on which way Ohio swings, I think we'll say a lot for 2024. And historically, there typically is a red wave or a blue wave that happens during the president's first term. Whatever party he's not is the party that usually takes over the Congress. So we'll see in Ohio how that's going to pan out. But the next thing that we have on here is the Ohio counties. 10 Ohio counties ban solar and windmill farms. So basically what's going on here is they've passed resolutions blocking the development of new utility scale wind and solar projects within all are part of their jurisdiction in the last year. And these are the 10 counties. It is Allen County, Ogilvie County, I believe, Butler County, Crawford County, Hancock County, the Knox County, Logan County, Medina County, Seneca County, Union County, and then there's two other counties that are checking it out as far as whether or not they'll be banning it. This is Ottawa County and Delaware County. And the way that this is getting banned is by the people because there was a law passed where the local populations within these areas have veto power over renewable energy generation sites. And they've been using those powers to make sure that they don't become implemented in their counties. Now, will this be a good thing? Probably. I mean, there's a lot of downsides to solar panels and wind turbines. Firstly, the solar panels, they only last about 10 years, and then you have to dispose of them in a landfill, and those landfills can cause contamination into the water with heavy metals. So there's that. And then the turbines, I mean, there's really no place to recycle them apparently at this point, which means you're just going to add more waste to the landfills. And, they're bird killers, as are the solar panel farms. They take up a lot of the infrastructure, a lot of nature. So I don't know that it's necessarily a good thing that they're banning them, but I can see why they want to ban them. Also, you could take it as an attack on like the natural gas industry and the fossil fuel industry, but in reality, they could work together, right? They don't have to be exclusive. They don't have to. Thank you for the likes. They don't have to be competing with each other. They could work with each other in order to make energy more distributed as far as how it's getting out. So I don't know exactly how that's going to affect them in the long run, but I do know that Ohio has a lot of natural gas, so we're not going to be hurting for energy. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. There's also coal production here. And I think that a lot of these people just want to be able to exercise their rights in their county, and I think that that's the right thing to do, and I think that that is a good thing for them. They should have the ability to say, no, we don't want this in our county, right? And this is why local politics is so important and state politics is so important. That way, well, it just shows you have more power there, right? Like these 10 counties, they stopped something from going down that they did not like, which we'll see how it plays out for them. But I tend to think that it's going to be beneficial. I don't think that solar panels on a small scale, like on homes, to be more self-sufficient is a bad thing. But when you get those ugly solar panel farms like in California that are not just ugly, but they're bird killers too, animal killers. They take up huge chunks of land, and it's there has to be better ways. There just has to be better ways. So that's what's going on in those 10 counties. And then the reason I say that Ohio needs a new attorney general is because our attorney general, Dave Yost, I believe is how you pronounce his name, made a comment earlier today on Twitter stating that you need to pay back your student loans. Debt forgiveness is bad. Pay back your loans. And this is the same guy who said, I had grit. I paid off my loans when I was going to college, but the guy was going to college in like the 1980s when tuition was like $1,000, $2,000, and he's trying to compare it to today where tuition is like costing $50,000. It's insane. So he also is implying that only sheet metal workers, the blue collar workers are going to be paying for the white collar degrees, the people who have gender studies or stuff like that. They got nonsense degrees. When in reality, they didn't get nonsense degrees. A lot of them, some of them did, yeah, of course, but a lot of them did not. And to think that you should not pay off somebody's debt, even after they were brainwashed into going into college because society told them to, and their predatory loans, and you realize that it gets our youth off on the wrong foot, and there's no way that they can get out of some of these loans due to there being no bankruptcy, and yeah, I mean that's the huge thing. There's no bankruptcy, and the federal government owns all the loans for the student debt, pretty much. So I just don't really understand why anybody would be against student debt forgiveness. Most people who say that they're against it don't actually understand how money is made, don't understand how the economy actually works, and they just use very boomer arguments, as Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost, however you pronounce his name. So that is pretty much all that I had for today. We'll be doing this every week. And then as this grows, I'm sure we'll have more people coming in, checking us out, wanting to hop in. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. So please like, share, subscribe. MOT Media everywhere, and we'll be back with MOT Ohio next Sunday at 4 o'clock. Much love. Peace.